Good afternoon, Dr. Blodgett. I am glad that I took your class, and I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to interview George Jones, a member of the geriatric population. I have completely enjoyed the geriatric population, and I truly believe that is my calling. And with that being said, this interview was amazing. I enjoyed every part of it. George Jones is married to Annie Jones, and they are both residents of the Metroplex area. He and his wife visited Amarillo about 2 to 3 times this past month, and I was able to interview him. He is happily married and has been for the past 30 years. They have 3 children. All of them are grown, have kids, and have grandkids. Mr. Jones is 77 years old. He was born and raised in Greenville, Mississippi, and he is the 5th child of 7. His mother and father passed away at a very young age, so he had to survive the best way he knew how, and one of those ways of surviving was to enlist in the United States Army. Very intelligent man, short memories intact, long-term memories intact, was able to reflect very well in very good detail. One of the things that I noticed about him was that he was okay with where he was at in life at this point. And that brings me to my next point about the theories. And it shows that I am growing in your class, because I'm able to just recall some of the theories just right off the back of my head without even looking through the textbook. And as I was listening to him speak, one of the theories that crossed my mind was Erik Erikson's last stage of the psychosocial development, the integrity versus despair. And it just brought joy to my heart to see that he was able to be okay and not complacent in the last stage of his life. One thing that he did remind me of was that to always make sure that you're financially prepared when your time is to retire. And one thing he wasn't ready was to retire. He was not financially set, and so that's one thing he said he didn't regret, but he wished that he would have been better prepared. 2 other theorists that I incorporated in my paper were Piaget and Goldstein. There were many other that I could have wrote about, but I believe that Erik Erikson's psychosocial development was a great way to correlate this interview with Mr. Jones and my paper. I learned more about Mr. Jones and the human behavior course just through this interview, and how much the 2 correlate with each other. I enjoyed interviewing him. I learned more, I think, about myself than I did him. I was able to grow, to kind of fine-tune some things in my life for the future. He was a very pleasant, very happy man, very joyful man. He shared with me some sad moments that he had experienced in his life, such as the death of his mother and father. I understand that, and that's something you sometimes you grow from and sometimes you don't grow from. I'm glad that I had the pleasure of interviewing him. I'm glad that I had the pleasure of having you as a professor. I'm just glad that I was able to express my interview not only through video but also through my paper. Thank you for your time. Have a great evening.